Hello everyone, my name is Samantha. I'm also known on YouTube as AutumnRabbitCrafts, and welcome to my very first podcast. I think I'll give it the name for now. I'm also known as AutumnRabbitCrafts on the following: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I have a Pinterest board on there. I am on Tumblr, not that I'm as active as I really should be, because I'm kind of using it as a blog and it's not really very blog-like. And Twitter. Also on Ravelry I'm known as AutumnRabbitCraft because they wouldn't let me have the S, so I had to take one letter away because I was one letter over. So I'm known as AutumnRabbitCraft. I used to be known as This Owl Knitter, but I had stopped knitting for quite a while, so I decided that it didn't really fit with everything that I do, because I also like to sew and to cross stitch. I draw, I sketch, I paint, although I've had artist's block for about 6 months. So I've not done any of that really. All of my paints are in a box in the spare room. Knitting and sewing seem to have taken over my life at the moment, which I'm not complaining about because I have a chronic illness, so my husband is always telling me off for doing too much, and my friends are always saying you need to not do as much as you do. So to make them happy and to make me happy, because it means I get to buy wool and pretty things, I have learnt that I have limitations, and when I overstep those limitations I have to sit down and knit. Oh wow. Knit with a cup of tea and a really nice Italian pastry. There could be worse things in life, I suppose. I actually made this video a few days ago and it was about 46 minutes long, and I did the best editing job I've ever done with this free editing software, and then I went to upload it to YouTube, and because it was free it wouldn't let me, because I think they've changed it. And after a few tears and a bit of frustration and a cup of tea, I have decided that I think it would just be best to ignore that video, because I don't think it's that good, to be honest. And if you can hear a bibbing, someone's trying to fix their van, and I've had to shut the window so it's gonna get warm in here, but I can keep hearing a sporadic honk of a horn, so I apologise. I can't do anything about that unless I go and tell them to shut up, and they have to fix their vehicle. So how about I stop babbling, and I'm sorry, I've just got distracted by a magpie on the roof. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. You'll find this out. I'm easily distracted. So how about we pick our favourite cup of something. Mine's in my Her Ladyship cup. What I think I might do for each YouTube video is pick a different... Oh, that's so annoying. I might pick a different cup each video. I've got quite a few. I'm a bit of a hoarder of wool, fabric, cross-stitch stuff and cups. I mean, who isn't? I mean, you have to have a good cup when you're sat knitting. Am I right? That is so... I'm really sorry, it's very, very annoying. And it must be annoying for you watching as well, because it's distracting me. But hey, let's get on with the video. So yeah, my dad bought a lordship, and then he bought my mum a ladyship, which she always hated. And when my mum passed away 3 years ago this November, it passed to me, so I have a certificate of ladyship, and I inherited the mug as well, so that's why I have this one today. So first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to myself, and I have everything written down because I figured, just in case I'm not able to edit it and I just really want to put a video out, I thought I would recheck all of my information and my pronunciations. And I wrote everything down, and I have lists for everything, and I have a few extra things that I would like to talk about. So I'm hoping this one doesn't go on as long. Who knows, it might do. I'm really sorry if it does. And for all of those of you who are new here, welcome to my little corner of chaos and higgledy-pigglediness, because this is going to be a bit higgledy-piggledy all over the show just for the first one. It's literally an introduction and a few showings of things. And for those of you who have been subscribed to me for quite a while, I am still here. You've probably forgot you subscribed to me. And those of you who have subscribed in the last kind of like couple of months, thank you very much. Even though I have no videos to show, it's been lovely and kind of you to subscribe. So if you like what you see and you like what you hear, then please subscribe and then hit the bell icon, because I'm hoping that these videos will become weekly. Not just yet, because I have to find things to occupy my 7-year-old daughter, who is slightly easy because she's at the moment co-oping on a game on Steam with Daddy. And he's keeping her occupied for I don't know how long this is going to take. So I'm gonna get straight into it. So why am I making this video so desperately, kind of? Well, I have been talking to one of my favourite FlossTubers. She's a British lady called Mama Loves You GB, and her name is Michelle, and she lives in Wales, which is she lives roughly about 3 hours from where I am. So unfortunately I can't just pop in and say hello and have a cup of tea, although she might think that was a bit weird if I, you know, ended up on a doorstep for a cup of tea. But yes, I told her that I was having a de-stash, and I had some patterns that I wanted to rehome, either for her to cross stitch or for her to put in giveaways, because she does giveaways on her channel. And she snapped them up, and I'm going to be sending them out next week, so that's why I was desperately wanting to make the video. I bought these at a time when either I was quite I was watching Michelle's videos, because she's a tiny bit of an enabler, or there is a few other FlossTubers that I follow that I like, and they've mentioned patterns, and I looked them straight away and I found them and I bought them. One of them, I'll start with the booklet, because I saw this on the FlossTube of Sampler Style. She is absolutely lovely. She lives just outside of New York, or in New York but outside she doesn't go into the city, but she said, and I don't blame her, because cities are, fortunately I live near a big city and I'm not a big fan. I'd rather live in the countryside, but hey ho. But I saw this on her channel and I went absolutely mad, and I spent weeks looking for this. I looked on American sites who didn't ship to a UK. I looked on ones that did, but they didn't have them in stock. I looked on Patchwork Rabbit, and I looked on a few other ones, and then I looked on eBay, which was a kind of accident because it was stupid o'clock in the morning and it popped up and I bought it. There and then I thought, I'm going to stitch it, I can't wait. Then I got the booklet, and then I thought, it's very pretty but it's very big, and I'm only a newbie to cross stitching, so I have not a big clue of what I'm doing most of the time. It's kind of, as I'm going along, I'm learning where I should be not doing how I do it, if that makes any sense. So this one is called Winter Rose Manor. It's with Thy Needle and Thread, and it's designs by Brenda Gervais, who I love her designs, but this one, it was just, I think it was just too much. So I'm hoping this works, because I am on a small camera and it's not one of those that you generally tend to film videos on, but anyway, we'll give it a go. This one comes with also, as well as this beautiful cross stitch, you can cross stitch a pincushion too. And it's a full booklet. It really is quite big, and there's a couple of specialty stitches I'm not very comfortable with, and I just thought Michelle would be the person to rehome this with. So that's the first one. And then I saw a couple of them, these other two, I think I've got all of them, I'm not really sure now. I'm sure there was more. I saw and I thought, they're really pretty, so I bought them. This first one is, oh sorry, this next one is Garden Time Sewing Bag, sorry about the rustling, by Nikki's Creations Primitives, because I really like primitive stitches, or at least I thought I did. And that's that one, which is really lovely. You make a little bag, and even though it says seeds, you can use it for cross stitching and knitting and things, I suppose. Although I don't think it would fit a lot of the balls of wool in it that I would need. So yeah. And then I bought this one as, I was going to do it for my wedding anniversary, which is at the end of this month. I was going to give it to my husband. However, I then found one with an Etsy shop that I liked even more, and I'd already bought that one. And I haven't yet started it. So that'll probably be his Christmas present, although it's the anniversary present, or I might just do it as something that's just pretty. This one is a Plum Street Samplers one, and they are gorgeous, and it's called Sweetheart Hill. And it really is absolutely beautiful, and it's got the full everything with it. So I just thought it would be better off being rehomed with Michelle. And I'm sorry about little weird squeaks, I don't know why I do them. And on this one, I know that another favourite YouTuber, FlossTuber of mine, is doing this one. And she said that there's quite a bit of colour change and there's lots of flosses for this one. And I'm more of a block colour type cross stitcher. I like it when there are block colours before there's a change. I like working in just like singular colours. I find them a little bit annoying. However, I am cross stitching something for my daughter. It was meant to be for her birthday, but the heat kicked in and it was just too hot and I couldn't carry on. So I had to put a stop to that one for a little bit. And I'm hoping to pick it up again very soon, within the next, because the heat's kind of going a little bit now that we're at the end of August, nearly. And this one, and I'm also an obsessive Frida Kahlo fan. I'm a humongous fan of Frida Kahlo. I have loads of books and I have a tattoo which is unfinished of Frida. Maybe I'll make a video about that, I don't know. But here it is, it's called Dreaming Frida. And she is gorgeous, but it's just the amount of colour changes and things, and I just thought it would be a little bit too advanced for me. That, and especially the Winter Rose Manor, absolutely gorgeous, but I just think it would be too big a project. Although saying that, I went absolutely obsessive over one called Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, which has been knitted. I've got knitting on the brain, I apologise. It was being stitched by another FlossTuber who I'll mention in a minute. And I managed to find it at Patchwork Rabbit. And I have to say a huge thank you to them, because they were fantastic in helping me get this one. So, who are my favourite FlossTubers? I have favourite FlossTubers, a list of sewing YouTubers and knitting podcasts / vlogs listed. So if I look down a lot, that's what I'm looking at. So as I've already mentioned, Mama loves UGB. She is absolutely lovely. She's so much fun to watch. She always makes me giggle. She has a fantastic style, and I love the stitches that she creates. They are absolutely gorgeous. And she has them up behind her as well, so kind of, I can't wait to kind of get to that kind of level, because as I'm still new to it, so practice and patience, that's what I say. And then I watch a lot of Nicola Parkman. She has a shop called Hands Across the Sea Samplers. Now she creates antique reproductions of samplers. So she's done some Bristol sampler reproductions and red sampler reproductions and things like that, and they are absolutely stunning. They're amazing. And then what I've just started watching is Nightmare Before Stitchmas, and she does a lot of, she's got a few gothic ones, and on, I think if I remember, behind her is a tree with Nightmare Before Christmas pretty things. That's one of my favourite winter films. And then there are some American ones I follow. As I've mentioned, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Olivia is a quilter as well as a cross stitcher, so you get a 2-for-1. She starts off talking about cross stitch, and then she switches over to the quilts, and she is a huge fan of colonial reproduction fabrics, and as am I now. I forgot, and then watching Olivia, it kind of reignited my obsession for them. But I also really like vintage fabrics, and I'm a huge fan of Victorian fabrics and things like Victorian quilts, and especially Welsh ones, because I'm part Welsh. I'm also part Scottish and part Irish, so when I get round to doing my cross stitches for that, I'm going to do one of each. I've got one called, I forgot what it's called, Lady Croketh, I think, or something like that. I'd have to double check. I'll put it underneath if I can't edit it on. That's a Scottish sampler. That is from an Etsy shop I'll talk about in possibly a minute or two. And then there's Annie from The Proper Stitcher. She's kind of watching Annie, you want to have a cup of tea with Annie. She's absolutely lovely, and she's really, really talented, and she's very, very fast. I mean, it took me, I don't know if I brought it up with me, I haven't. It took me about 3 weeks to complete a Platinum Jubilee cross stitch, which is probably about this big, and I finished it on the actual day of the Jubilee, which I didn't watch. But then when I was watching Nicola Parkman, she mentioned about Paddington Bear, and being a huge fan of Paddington Bear, I watched the opening bit with Paddington and the Queen, and I absolutely loved it. My daughter loved it too, because I watched the newer Paddington on Nick Jr. I think it's on Nick Jr. But I love Paddington, and I think she has the original Paddington. I'm pretty sure she has the original Paddington on DVD, and she loves watching that too. And then there's Bridget, the museum stitcher, who is absolutely lovely. She always makes me smile when I watch her videos. She makes me giggle, and she always has really interesting content. So they're definitely 6 that I can recommend if you're into cross stitch. If you like sewing, then can I persuade you to look at Rachel Maxey. Rachel Maxey is, I would have to say, very enthusiastic, very funny, she's bonkers, but in an amazingly hilarious way. She's absolutely funny. She never ever fails to make me laugh. And the things she makes are really good. I don't think she gives herself enough credit. She sews, she does painting things sometimes. She decided to put, to make over her bathroom as, I think it was Art Deco, and then she made over her studio, and put beams up, and they were really funny. It was great to watch, and I just kind of sat there thinking, I could do something like that to make the living room look like a Hobbit living room. My style tends to be somewhere between Hobbit and the Moomins. I am obsessed with the Moomins. I have been since I was little, and I even have this beautiful Moomin Mama. I absolutely love her. She sits on my sewing machine, which is behind my camera. My sewing machine, which at the moment is called Esme, but I would like to give her another name. Maybe of someone who was who worked at Quarry Bank Mill, perhaps, or something a bit more historical, so that the name can always be remembered. But yes, I absolutely adore the Moomins. I love them. There's a place in Japan that is literally like you can have dinner with the Moomins in a carriage, and absolutely fantastic. I saw it briefly on the internet at some point. But the things she makes and the things she sews, and her style is amazing, and I just wish I could sew some of the things like she does. I'm still new to sewing. I have had a sewing machine for many, many years, but I used it mainly for textile arts. So I used to put wood and metal and paper and fabric together with it. This time I'm actually learning how to use it to make, you know, clothes and quilts, for instance. I made one quilt, which was not perfect, but it was for my mum when she was in the hospice, and she loved it, so that's all I really cared about. And then there's Rosary Apparel. She's called Janelle. She is lovely. She makes the most beautiful dresses that I wish I owned, and she's fantastic. She's a great sewer, and I love watching her videos because she's always really informative on what she's doing, and she does a lot of sewing hacks, so they're always really fun to watch. And then there's Bernadette Banner, who is a historical sewist. She does many things by hand, mainly by hand. She does use a sewing machine. She has a Victorian Singer treadle sewing machine, and she bought it off eBay, and she has cleaned it up and she's serviced it, or had it serviced, and it works beautifully. And she's even made a video how she went about when she first started learning to use it, and it was a lot of fun to actually watch. And then there's Emma Jones, who is the vintage sewing box. Now, I've actually, sorry, there's a little fly flying about. I have actually bought one of her patterns. I bought it for my birthday, and I completed it, and I've left it somewhere, but I have got the leaflet that she sent with the kit, because I bought it as a kit, and it came with everything, because I thought I could do it myself, or to actually make it properly I should just get the kit. And this is what it's called. It's called the Hexagon Flower Scissor Case. But with mine, because my scissors were super duper sharp, I put a little bit in the bottom. I wish I'd sewn it in before I sewed the whole thing together, because it keeps coming out. It's really annoying. That's the only thing that I would change on the pattern, is I would do that again. I would reinforce the bottom with some thicker, maybe felt fabric, which works quite well. And she is, as I said, a vintage sewing box here on YouTube as well. Now, knitting. My daughter calls the knitting area in Hobbycraft Woolly Wonderland, and I agree. I definitely agree. We don't seem to have many dedicated wool shops here in the UK. I watch things like, when I watch the FlossTubers, I also watch the Vintage Stitcher artist. She's wonderful to watch as well. She crochets, she cross stitches, and she sews. And watching, especially the American ones, when they go to these big wool shops and things, I just, so pretty, so very pretty. And then most of the shops I shop at for things like quilting supplies and things have been on the internet, or there is the, I always forget what it's called, patch finders. Patch finders in I think it's Congleton. No, it's not Congleton. No, I forgot where it is. If I can edit it in, I'll try, but other than that I'll put it underneath. But Patch Finders is not far from where I am, and I love going there. And I bought some amazing colonial reproduction fabrics for my birthday. I bought a jelly roll and a layer cake, and I still have them in packets. I've not used them yet. I've not done anything with them yet. But I wish we had more knitting shops. And the one knitting shop that I would absolutely love to go and visit is the one that is owned by Jana from Finished Knitting Stories. I absolutely love watching Finished Knitting Stories. It's probably, I'm really sorry, but actually no, because the three that I have written down here, they're all my favourites, and especially the first two. I want to live next door to the second one, and then visit Jana, have a holiday home next door, so that I can keep hopping over for wool. She is absolutely so much fun to watch. She's an amazing knitter. She's, oh, the things that she knits, she crochets as well. She lives in Finland, obviously because she's called the Finnish Knitting Stories. Her knits are fantastic. Her garments are gorgeous. Her craft room is it's a dream craft room. Although I'm wanting, my daughter for a while kept watching Sarah and Duck, and I became very obsessed with one particular character. And if anyone here is a parent who's had to sit through hours and hours and hours of CBeebies, and they know Sarah and Duck, you may know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bag Lady. Bag Lady is, yeah, her bag talks, and you can actually buy her bag, not talking bag obviously because that's a cartoon, but you can actually buy the merchandise for Sarah and Duck, and I was like, oh yay. I want the bag, and I'm still after the bag. I've not bought the bag yet, but she has a whole room dedicated to wool. She has them in colour order. She has, oh, and I know the perfect thing that would be great, because I could just go to IKEA and get one of the shelving units and it would be perfect for putting wool in. That is my dream, to have a wool room. Not like a few shelves with a bit of storage of wool, an actual wool room. I want to be like Bag Lady. I want wool everywhere. But yes, the finished knitting stories I've been binge watching lately. I have to admit, I have neglected some of my floss tubes for the knitting ones, because these are the 3 that I watch the most. Definitely finished knitting stories. If you're a knitter and you like to knit along with a very funny lady who, she's so very talented. And then there, excuse me, there is Muddy Boots Maker. She's Amy and she's from Australia, and her knitting is, there is a jumper she's knitted, I am sorry, excuse me, called, I forgot to write it down, it might be Bush and Bloom, it begins with a B. I meant to look this up and I forgot. Yeah, the jumper that she's made, I might look it up now while I'm chatting, but she knitted this amazing jumper and I want it. And she went to the Bendigo Wool Show, which she's made a vlog about, and she has the wool she bought. I sat there and I was like, right, I have to move next door to her, because she bakes, she cooks, she sews, she knits, and she does have an Etsy shop which I will link. However, she doesn't mail to the UK, which is a shame, but then again it's probably because of the price. I don't blame her. And yeah, it's gorgeous. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a dry throat and it's warm. I've had to shut the window like I said, and this isn't working. Yeah, and because I've had to shut the window because of the annoying honking sound. Yeah, I can't find it. Excuse me, I apologise. But yeah, it's this one particular jumper I'm in love with, and if I'm right, it's in Tarsha. I can't remember if it's Fair Isle. I just know I'm in love with the jumper. I will find it and I will try and find a way to link it in somewhere. So yeah, I could highly recommend Muddy Boots Maker, and I just love that name. It's fantastic. And then there's Ciasbod-woolmagic. So Kia is from Sweden. She was actually mentioned in Finished Knitting Stories because they send things to each other. And she, like, sorry, Yana, she's a spinner of yarn and she knits. I do apologise. I'm sorry about that. It's just very, very warm in here. I don't know if they're going to start making noise again, so. But yeah, she knits some beautiful things, and the socks that she knits are amazing, and I really need to start learning to do these things, which is actually something I'm going to chat about in a minute, or a few minutes, I'm not sure when. But yes, they're my 3 favourite knitting podcasts, and I would say if you are a knitter as obsessed as I am, because I'm quite obsessed, especially at the moment, then I would say go and have a look at these 3 particular knitters. These are my favourites that I watch like all the time on YouTube. And now, so shops, where I get my squidgy soft pretties and my hoarding stuff from. So wool and fabric I tend to get from a local place to me in the Emporium M33, and it's called Blue Buttons. Diane, who owns Blue Buttons, is lovely. I always end up having a good chat when I'm in there with her. She has the most beautiful stock of wool. I tend to usually get Berger de France from her. I think that's how you say it. But she has obviously lots of other different types of wool, all the sorts that you would normally know. There is one in, I think, Burnage, and I can't remember the name of it. I went with my friend Claire. And that was quite pretty. It was quite a small one, but I tend to go to Blue Buttons in Sale. She sells fabric, cross-stitch supplies, and wool. So that's the most local to me. If I'm going to buy fabric, it would be Leon's in Chorlton, who have an amazing stock of so many different types of fabric. It's unbelievable, and you have to get there at the right time, because it's always, there's never any parking, and there's only a very small car park out front. So if you get there too late, you ain't parking. I've been trying to get in there for months and months, and after lockdown it was impossible, because we came out of lockdown and they reopened, and because they don't sell online, every time I went past, every time there was never anywhere to park. So I need to, in the new year, I will talk about my proposed ideas. I need to save up to kind of get there early. So for wool, I get mine from Wool Warehouse, which I have a basket ready to check out of. I want to knit the Wild Rabbit by Dot Pebbles, and I've got all the wool for it in there. I just need to check out when I have some money. Black Sheep Wools as well, they're really great priced. They have some beautiful stockists. They're stockists of some great wools. But the reason I go to Wool Warehouse is because they have the Sheep Yes wool that I really like. So I'm going to show you this. I was going to wait till the end, but first of all I have to show you I painted this at Bean & Brush in Sale on the 12th of the 8th this month, because I went there with my daughter because I was trying to keep it occupied for summer holidays, and I'm hoping this looks like an acorn. I think it looks, the paint job looks more like a Swede, but it's supposed to be an acorn. This is my yarn ball. Now, I've always said the word wool, so I'm training myself to say yarn, because everything and everywhere seems to have the word yarn, and I've never been quite comfortable saying yarn. I don't know why. I've always preferred to say wool. And but so this is my yarn bowl, and the yarn I have that fits into it is the Sheep Yes. The colourway is Secret Garden, and the name of this particular wool is called Hidden Pathway. And I am knitting, just check my thingy, the pattern I'm using is the Elementary Shawl by Pearl Soho. That's their pattern. You can see it in my Ravelry, and the DPN cozy, or my circular knit and needle cozy, is from Candy School Crafts on Etsy. Now, can you see why I got this? If you can see the rabbit, then that will be the reason I bought it. I saw the rabbit and I thought I have to, because I love rabbits. I I absolutely love them. Up until last year I had, for the last, I don't know, 15 odd years I've had rabbits, and unfortunately, sadly, my very last rabbit, Myrtle, who was a very special rabbit, I got her from Pets at Home. I had picked another rabbit because my rabbit Noah, his friend, had died. His friend was Honey. She was a Netherland dwarf, and he needed a friend because he would have been lonely. So I got Myrtle to replace Honey, and she was rambunctious and energetic and adventurous because she dug a hole so he could get out and get back in again to the garden, which they must have been doing it for weeks because I didn't have a clue, because I found out by sheer accident one day and then plugged up the hole. But she sadly got fly strike, which I beg you, if you have a rabbit, please cut down your sharp plants and weeds, because that's how it happened. We didn't know. She had it really well, and yeah, I ended up having to take her to the vets, and I'm really sorry about that sad moment, but that's why I've not got rabbits at the moment. And this has got knotted around, I don't know how, but yeah, so I love circular knitting needles. I don't really like the long ones anymore because I have arthritis in my hands and I find these a lot easier to use. These are Leica. These ones are 4mm ones. I need to get some others to knit the other projects I'll be showing you, but I don't tend to go for the long knitting needles anymore unless the DPNs for making socks, which I need to start learning how to do. I like fixed circular knitting needles. I'm not a big fan of the Knit Pro Symphony anymore. I have the interchangeable ones. I was after them for so long. I was after them for years and I got them for my birthday. I don't like them. Excuse me. They come loose after so long, and I have to screw them very tightly shut, which is not great for my fingers. And also, if they come loose and I don't notice it, they snag my yarn, and it's really annoying, and I just don't like them. And also, when I knit with the Symphony, I don't know if anyone else has found this, but the sizes rub off after a while, because I've got a few that I don't know what sizes they are because the sizes have rubbed off. But these ones are Leica. These ones are the Knit Pro, but I'm going to order this size in for 3.75mm for the rabbit ones I want to show you in a minute. But I've ordered them. I'm going to order them in Leica, which means happiness in Norwegian, if I remember correctly. So this is what it looks like with my yarn in the bowl. I don't put them through here. I'm guessing this is for putting the yarn through, but if I take this, I can't really take the yarn ball with me. And as I said, I got the cozy from Candy School Crafts. They are on Etsy, and they're on, yes, obviously, because I got them from Etsy. What I meant to say is they're on Instagram, and they have a shop on Etsy. So this is what I'm calling the Lord of the Rings shawl. I couldn't wait to start this. I was going to wait till I started watching the films from scratch. However, my daughter isn't really sleeping very well at the moment, and I had to start it. So I thought Hidden Path was perfect name for a Lord of the Rings shawl, because obviously they have to go on that hidden path to dump the ring. Although if they'd just got the bird over, it would have been over really quickly. Said no Lord of the Rings fan ever. That might be a bit controversial, I apologise. But yes, I'm a big fan of fixed circular needles, and my favourite ones right now are Leica. I don't really like plastic ones, and I can't stand metal ones because I don't like metal ones too much. I find them a bit too sharp. For me anyway, and I've never really liked them. I just prefer wooden ones, so I really like using the Leica ones. talking of Etsy, my favourite place to get cross-stitch patterns from is Etsy. My style or my interest of the cross-stitch patterns that I like has completely changed. I like maritime history, I like history in general, so I like the little stitcher shop because I've bought Moby Dick. I really liked the cross-stitch pattern, so I bought that. There's also the Witchy Stitcher. I have three patterns from her. I'm waiting to order a fourth one because she did one called Sailor Remembers, and she's also designed Pendle Remembers, and obviously being English and from not too completely far away from Pendle, I would like to stitch that one very, very much. These, I will do a whips video probably for my second one, but both cross-stitch sewing, or all cross-stitch sewing and knitting, because obviously I've just shown you one. I've got quite a few cross-stitch ones, and I've got a couple of sewing ones as well, which I'd like to share, but it would just be too much in this one video. So that will be my next video, hopefully in a couple of weeks. Also the North Sampler House on Etsy, and she's all these ones are also on Instagram. I think the Little Stitches on Instagram. North Sampler House is Northumberland Sampler House. She is amazing. She did some stitchy kindness for me. I was after a specific floss drops because there was a pattern I really wanted, and I was going to get some floss keeps. These things I will show you what they are next video, so you're going to have to wonder for a little bit or Google it. But yeah, I mentioned to her it's a shame that this particular sampler didn't have the floss drops to go with it, because I'd absolutely love it as a set. So she created the set. I'd already bought some floss drops from her. The first time I tried, her printer was broke, so she very kindly told me when it was fixed so I could buy these ones, because there's like one set left, so I thought, I'm having them. And then she said that because I'd mentioned what I did, that it's a shame there wasn't any floss drops. She hadn't really thought about it, I don't think, or she might have thought, I don't know, she possibly forgot. Or she just hadn't made any floss drops for this particular sampler. She sent them to me as a gift for inspiring her to create them, which I thought was absolutely, it was so lovely of her. She really didn't have to. I was happy to just buy them anyway, but they're really pretty, and I'm glad that she made them, because then I got the sampler and I printed it out, which I'll show you next time, and I've also got the fabric for it and all the flosses, so it's completely kitted out. But yeah, if you're after great service on Etsy, all of these ones that I have bought from have all been fantastic. They've all had, I had great communication with them, and these have all come through straight away after I've bought them. There's also the best name ever. If this was her real name, it would be amazing. Good Flora Stitchwort, which I've bought a couple from her. One of them I'm making as a birthday present for my dad, which is next week, and I'm half finished with it, so now it's cooled down and might be able to continue with it. And then there's the Sub Rosa Design, who her designs are gorgeous. I've already completed one, which was a birthday present for my husband. No, Father's Day present for my husband. Excuse me. And I have quite a few of hers. I've spent quite a lot of money on her patterns. They're all very beautiful, and they're all in my I will mock you till you make me pile. And also for patterns, I've gone to eBay for Jeff Smith 2055. Now this is also a shop that Michelle has shopped at and bought things from, and I've bought them, and within a few days they've arrived. They've always arrived really well packaged and in great condition, so I can highly recommend Jeff Smith 2055 on eBay. Also for fabric, I tend to get my Zweigert from Stitchtastic on Etsy. So yeah. What else? So the things I like, I think I might have mentioned these, I might have started mentioning them and I went off on a weird tangent, I know. Autumn, rabbits and hares, obviously. I'm mentioning Moomins, cups of tea, buttery toast and buttery crumpets, because there's nothing better than buttery toast and buttery crumpets when it's freezing cold. Tweed fabric, love tweed fabric, have an obsession, have done for years. Trees, because I was asked once when I was a kid, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And everyone else is like, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be just like my mum and my dad, or, you know, I want to do this, or I want to be a footballer. And I said, I want to be a tree, and I got laughed at. And I was talking to a friend of mine who passed away a few years back, and because I put on Facebook about it, and her reply was, so what tree do you want to be? And I said oak, because it's the biggest, the mightiest and the strongest, and they've been around for hundreds of years. And she said, that's a very good answer. So when I grow up, I want to be a tree, and that is still what I want to be. I absolutely love old films. I love Hammer horror films. Yes, they're cheesy and they're tacky, but my first vampire crush was Christopher Lee. When he died, I cried. I love... My all-time favourite is Hound of the Baskervilles. I used to drive my mum and dad nuts with that every Christmas from about the age of 5. Basil Rathbone in Hound of the Baskervilles. And I've said to my husband, if we ever win the lottery, I'm getting an Irish wolfhound and I'm calling it Baskerville. Because I'm pretty sure in one of the versions, I'm sure they used Irish wolfhounds as hounds of the Baskervilles. I know they've used mastiffs and other dogs, but I'm sure the Basil Rathbone version, I could be completely wrong, but I have also an obsession with Irish wolfhounds, which are bigger than I am, and I want 1 or 2. Also, I've said that when if we ever win the lottery and we get to own a farm of some kind, I want sheep, 1 called casserole, 1 called stew. I know. And one of my favourite films is The Witch, which is a very new one. And I fell in love with Black Phillip. And if you've ever seen the film, you're not meant to fall in love with him, but I don't care. He was a big black goat called Black Phillip. And he was my favourite thing in the whole film. And so, yeah, the running joke is we win the lottery, we get a goat, he's going to be called Black Phillip. That's a given. He can have as many other animals as he wants, but I'm having a black goat. But yes, I love old films. I love old black and white films. I love 1940s films. I'm a big 80s fan, so I really like 80s films. 90s, especially the really cheesy horror films, because there are quite a few of them. Yeah, I like old films. And my favourite colours have to be creamy pinks, because I'm not a big fan of the bright pinks. Saying that, I've got a ball of bright pink I'm looking at in wool, but my daughter bought me that for Mother's Day many years ago. She went into Blue Buttons, my husband gave her some money, and she bought me 2 balls of wool. 2 completely different weights, but I'm going to make her a hat and probably a pair of socks if I ever get around to learn to knit them. I also love creams and kind of beige colours. I never used to, but I'm kind of leaning more towards those colours. I like brown, green, orange, red, earth colours. I absolutely am obsessed with the colour mustard yellow. And I also like grey as well. And on Ravelry they ask you for your favourite swear word. My favourite is frog. I was watching a YouTube channel and the presenter's like, what the frog? And I was like, having a very small child at the time who was like a parrot. She's still a bit of a parrot, not as bad. And she knows not to ever repeat swear words. My favourite swear word is frog, or frick, or frack, which is from 2 different sci-fi series. But frog, what the frog, go frog off. It's my favourite because you have to come up with different swear words where when you have a child. I have sworn in German before now. And I am known to say tack quite a lot, which is thank you, I think. Yes, it's thank you in Norwegian. I'm pretty sure. So yes, so that's it. That's my favourite colours, definitely, and my favourite swear word. Now you know what my favourite swear words are. Like I said, I am very strange. I don't know if I've pointed this out, but I am rather strange. I want to share some projects that I want to start. I've shown you the Lord of the Rings shawl. As I said, that's the pattern for that is the Elementary shawl from Pearl Soho, which is free. I forgot to mention it's a free pattern. I was following one pattern thinking it was a different one, but I realised that I hadn't read it properly. But yes, it's a very easy pattern. It's easy to knit. But this one is the Rabbit Breeds Wild Rabbit Claire Garland of Dot Pebbles. She's had some problems with people hacking her Etsy accounts and things, so I made sure that I bought these ones from Ravelry because I've never heard anyone on Ravelry ever have any problems, and I commented on Claire Garland's post on Instagram about it, and I mentioned about Ravelry and she said thank you very much. So, and also I really like to help independent designers as well, and I've bought kits from Claire Garland before many years ago. She was fantastic about helping me buy a kit which I never finished and has since gone all ugh. I left it in part of my old bedroom and I just forgot about it, and it's just, yeah, and it went very wrong, and it might still be there in my old room. I'll have to go and check. But this one is the Wild Rabbit. Can you see a theme? I don't know if you can see my brooch. I got this from a shop on Etsy. I forgot the name of the shop, but it's got a rabbit, and like I said, I love rabbits. I'm obsessed with rabbits. But this, I have the wool ready to check out in Wool Warehouse. But isn't this gorgeous? I've also got her rabbit one, her Peter Rabbit, which I'll show in a minute, a cat pattern as well, and a couple of the free downloads that she also did. But also I'm going to at some point be knitting this for my daughter for Christmas. She knows I'm knitting it. She doesn't actually know when I'm knitting it or when for, but he comes with heritage coloured carrots, which I think is gorgeous, because many years ago in this country we didn't have orange carrots. I don't know if you know this, but we had purple carrots. It's why we have purple sprouting broccoli in shops, because they weren't always green, or cabbages weren't always white. Radishes weren't always pink, and carrots weren't always orange. They were yellows and purples, and I just love the colours. I need to make a vegetable or a stew with heritage carrots. I think it's going to be amazing. The colours are going to be absolutely fantastic. I love stew because I just love it when you put the heat on it and you're waiting for it to come to boil and you watch the colours of the swede and the turnip and the meat and everything else in it. All of the ingredients, they change colour. And it's one of my favourite bits of when I make stews, watching it change colour. Sad as that sounds. But he's absolutely gorgeous. I have an obsession as well with Beatrix Potter. My all-time favourite has always been Jemima Puddle Duck, and Claire Garland also has a Jemima Puddle Duck pattern, which is in my favourites on Ravelry. But I need to knit this first. This mainly is because I want to do a test, because when I first knit something I'm not great at following patterns. Being dyslexic, I find it difficult to follow some patterns, even if they're really simple. So I figured if I can knit this correctly, this becomes a little bit of a mascot for my channel, because obviously AutumnRabbitCrafts, and also it means when I knit Peter Rabbit I'm going to knit it perfectly without any problems. So that's the two that I want to get started on straight away. Sorry again. Also, I want to do this. I have been obsessed with this for a very, very long time. Sorry about that. This is the Beekeeper's Quilt, excuse me, by Tiny Owl Knit. I think that's why I changed my name as well, because Tiny Owl Knits, this owl knitter, very similar. Yeah, it's pretty much the same letters. It was an unconscious thing, honestly. I didn't do it because of Tiny Owl Knits. I just thought this owl knitter sounded quite good because I liked owls at the time, but I'm more obsessed with rabbits, so, and autumn. So this is probably the oldest pattern I have printed out. So this is the Beekeeper's Quilt, and I am obsessed with this. I have tried to pick it up over the years. I even had some done in some beautiful wool that I got from a shop in Manchester, which very quickly closed down, which is a shame because I'd heard about it for years and I finally found it and then it closed down. But yes, I have had this printed out. I've had it printed out for so long it's going yellow. This is how old my pattern is. I lost it and I thought I'm going to have to buy it again. Luckily, I found the pattern. I've even got little bits of notes on it. Excuse me. So for this, it says it's advanced, but it's nice. To be honest, it's quite easy. Once you work out how to knit the hexagons, it's quite simple, and it tells you how many you need in hexapuffs. So what you do is you knit them 2 together on DPNs, and you only use 2, I think it's 2, oh, I don't know how many needles, I forgot. I did do quite a few of them and then I got sidetracked with everything else. And the pattern tells you for 2 by 2 foot prom quilt you need 102. For a 2 by 3 foot quilt you need 167, and for a 3 by 4 foot quilt you need 384. Now I'm wanting to knit this freaking size bed, so I will let you know when I finally get around to knitting them how many you actually need. But the wool from the rabbit patterns that I'm going to be knitting that I've just shown you will be used for this. So the rabbit pattern calls for wool and mohair and other beautiful wools. In fact, funny enough, I got the Peter Rabbit body wool, one of them, and I'm hoping to order the rest very soon. And I actually didn't get this from a warehouse, I got it from Amazon because Wool Warehouse were out of it. And I got it from Amazon thinking I was going to get the body wool quite quickly, and I didn't get around to it. But this is Drops Alpaca, and it is, the colour is 0618 and the dye lot is 7G9661, and it is light beige. So this is the Drops Alpaca. How absolutely, oh, how gorgeous is this? And it's so soft, and I get funny looks in wool shops because I do this. Maybe not so much because of COVID, but you have to know how soft the wool is. And can you imagine having a gorgeous little bunny rabbit knitted in this and you go to sleep with it at night as a little girl or little boy, you know, as a child, you know, and it's something that will hopefully last, so that she can pass down to if she ever has children herself. She can pass it down. It's just so lovely. It really is. I can't wait to start knitting with this. And also I was given a tip by my mum many years ago to knit with mohair. Put it in the fridge or the freezer. Let it go really cold because it's easier to knit with. And you know what? She was right. It's not so useful if you are if you are going to be taking it with you. But yes, sorry, I've got an itchy nose now as well. I make a video of getting itchy nose. This is the first time it's been itchy, which is a miracle. So yes, so I think that is most of it done. But yeah, like I said, the main reason I'm wanting to rehome these amazing patterns is because I've been hit by the knitting and sewing bug again, and those I will share as whips in my next video. And also I thought I might share with you I don't know how much longer I've got. I think either my battery's nearly gone or I've nearly filled up my memory card. I don't know. But I was going to share my favourite books with you. I might have to leave that till next time. I think I'll leave that till next time. So I will just say for now, thank you for being with me for this long. I'm really sorry it's taken I don't know how long. I will find out when I upload it to edit it all together. So yeah, I will. And also I've just noticed the time. I started this at probably about 3:15, so it's been about an hour. I think I've gone on for long enough, so I'm going to leave it there for now. My next video will be whips and books. I hope you have enjoyed my little chat. I'm sorry that I'm just going to have to cut off now because I don't know how long I've got left on my, it might be the battery's going. It's not actually telling me that, that my battery's going, so I will say for now goodbye and thank you very much for sticking with me for this long. If you like what you've heard so far, then I hope you will hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you will be told when I'm going to upload next. I'm hoping it'll be weekly, but for this first little bit, the first videos will be probably every couple of weeks or so. But yeah, also quickly I wanted to let you know that I want to learn to make socks because I'm desperate to do that. I really want to learn Farrell. I have been obsessed with it since I was a kid, and I want to make some project bags as well. And I have been inspired to start making the Hinterland dresses, which I hope to start making in the new year. And I want to do things like me-made maze, but I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. I have ideas to do cross-stitch whips, favourite knitting books like I said, knitting whips, fabric wool hauls, craft hauls, that sort of thing. So if that's what you would like to see or are interested in, maybe leave a comment and let me know what you think that I should cover or what you would like to see me do, and maybe I can incorporate that into a future video. I would like to do question and answer videos, which would be kind of cool because I've seen a few of them and I really like them. So I will shut up now. I'll stop waffling. I'll go make a new cup of tea because mine's gone cold. I hope this video was alright. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope this is better than my last one. So I will see you all very soon, and I look forward to making my next video. I look forward to having a chat with you all again. Maybe next time we can knit something together, or sew or crochet, or whatever your craft happens to be. So until the next time, I would like to say thank you for sticking with me so long. If you're still here, thank you very much. I'm surprised and also very thankful. I hope this inspires you to hit the subscribe button. I would love to see you next time, and I would love to have a chat with you again very soon. So stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Again, thank you, and my name is Samantha of AutumnRabbitCrafts, and I will see you again very soon. Bye everyone. Bye bye.